Hey everyone, it is Stacy Dunnemke with Dietitian Career Success. I am very excited to have you here today because have you ever thought about having a little extra creative outlet as a dietitian or health professional, or thought about having a side hustle or a side gig? You are in for a treat because my guest today is the one and only Katie Dodd. Welcome, Katie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here because you and I and the work that we do to serve dietitians and health professionals aligns so closely. And when I heard that you have a brand new book that you have just published and have been working very hard at it, I could not wait to have you on with our listeners to hear what you have got for them. So tell us the name of your book.
My book is called Dietitian Side Hustle, a comprehensive guide for starting a side hustle, making more money, and loving what you do.
I love this because you are the expert on dietitian side hustles. You are a really good writer, both for your newsletter, for your content, and for the courses that you do and all the work that you do for dietitians in your programs. This is not just a blog article. This is a really big, okay, how many pages is it? It's
It's
gigantic.
actual printed pages is almost 400 pages.
That's amazing, right?
It's
So that is
comprehensive.
really exciting. I'm very excited. It launches in a couple days. If you are listening to this, it may already be launched, but I hope that you guys can really glean a lot from what Katie's going to share with us. I'm super excited to get into the details of what's in it. So, Dietitian Side Hustle, can you tell us a little bit what that means?
Sure. So Dietitian Side Hustle actually started as a hobby for me in 2019. I started it as a podcast. In 2019, I started diving into the world of entrepreneurship and realized there's so many things that we can do as dietitians outside of traditional things that we learned in school. So I started this little podcast called Dietitian Side Hustle because that's what I was doing. I was working a full-time job, mom of two kids, and just doing fun gigs on the side. So it's kind of crazy to think how far the journey's come around. That in 2019, I just thought I'd start a little podcast for fun, and who knew, 6 years later, I'd actually write a whole book on it. So the book is really just about how you can start a side hustle, whatever that means to you. I always talk about a side hustle in some ways is just an additional stream of income. You
Mm.
could be a full-time entrepreneur and have side hustles. You could have a full-time job and just want to do something for fun on the side because you're passionate about it. Or it could be something that you're like, you know what? I want to create some more income. I want to maybe create a bridge to eventually leave my job. A dietitian side hustle can mean so many things to so many people. And one of the things I will say I really emphasize in the book is like, your path is your path. Your life is your life. Focus on what works for you and then kind of block out all the rest.
Yeah, I love that description, and I've had a little sneak peek of what's inside that book, and it's really not just a description of different side hustles that someone can have. I think you once termed it as both a mindset book, a business book, and also practical tools guide for people. Can you tell us a little bit about what's in it and kind of what that means for the person who might be wanting to read it?
Yeah. My goal for this book is I took everything I've learned on my journey and I'm putting it all in this book. It is all in here. I am not gatekeeping. I am sharing all my stuff. And it's really based on the framework that I teach my own students. And it's beyond just what we think we need. Because we often think like, oh, just tell me how to, create a course. Tell me how to work with clients one-on-one. Tell me how to blog. And we think that's what we need. Now, all of that is in here. There's a chapter that's ridiculously long that has 35 plus different side hustles and shows you how to do it. I do want to preface the fact that each side hustle could be its own book. So it's kind of like, here are the side hustles. Here's what you need. Here's how to do it. And that way you are going to be on next steps to pursue that side hustle. I'm very proud of this big, meaty chapter on side hustles. But what I'm most proud of in this book is all the other stuff, because there's what we think we need and what we really need. There's a lot of content in how to
Mm.
set a strong foundation for starting your side hustle, how to work on our mindset, how to figure out what path we're going to go on that really resonates with us and doesn't resonate with what other people think that we should do, or what we think will not offend people. Like, what is the path that we should pick for us? And then I have a whole chapter on dreaming bigger, because most dietitians dream too small. We want to be realistic. And so dreaming bigger. And there's even a chapter on failure, a whole
Mm.
chapter about really what failure is and the fact that I want you to fail. And when
Mhm.
I feel like when I say I want you to fail, that terrifies most dietitians because we're like, no, I'm going to plan my way to the fact, to a way that I never fail. But when we understand that failure is a part of business, failure is a part of entrepreneurship, it's part of life, and we embrace the good parts of failure because there's a lot of good behind failure. And so
Right.
I've got a chapter on that. And then another chapter all about keys to side hustle success. I believe that all dietitians are amazing. They are all capable of starting a side hustle, starting a business, pursuing their dreams. But there's this question of why do some people succeed and others don't?
Mhm, mhm.
So I have this chapter where I'm pulling together all of these themes, these habits, these things that successful entrepreneurs do. So yes, it's about side hustles, but it's more than that. It's about personal and professional development and how to, there's a little phrase on the top, live your dreams, change the world. And it's really giving you the tool set and the mindset to not just, figure out what you want to do, but make a plan and actually do it with confidence through the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey.
Katie, I think that's sort of your secret sauce, actually, is that you've got a great niche where you have been able to show dietitians different ways in which they can share their craft and also share their interest, their creative side. I like what you've said about how this is not just a toolkit on how to find different types of dietitian side hustles, but it's a mindset or a business book about how to think bigger because I have my personally many times I've thought about starting a particular side hustle or a project within my own business and got really small minded about it. Small in that I didn't share it with anybody. I didn't really make a plan to make it happen. I didn't set deadlines. The path was not there. The idea was there and then it just turned off. It got shut down. And then I've had other projects like dietitian salaries, for example.com. I had the idea and then I just sort of pushed myself off the cliff and told a bunch of people and made it
Yeah.
happen, right? Like so there's, really a lot of mindset that goes into pursuing something that you have a really big interest in. And so I just want to point that out to readers that and listeners that this is not just a checklist of different ideas in which you can do. It's like how to actually make them happen so that you can be of service, so that you can feel really satisfied, making and executing this project or this side hustle that you've had. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, and that was one of my goals, Stacey. I didn't just want to have a book that people read and say, "Oh, that's interesting." I wanted to have a book that people think, "Oh my gosh, thank goodness I bought this book." The day I bought this book was the day everything changed because then they start pursuing their dreams and start doing those big things they want to do. My goal isn't just information consumed, it's lives changed. Their lives and the lives that they're going to impact, because dietitians are world changers, truly. Like the impact that we make on people is so huge. And so many people out there need what it is we have to offer, but we get in our own way. So,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to pivot a bit and ask a little bit about one of our favorite topics, you and me, that is money. A lot of people in my community with dietitiansalaries.com and NutritionJobs also are thinking about money. And I believe oftentimes when someone mentions the word side hustle or side gig or whatever the term is, part time, entrepreneur, venture, whatever you want to call it, people are thinking about the money. And I want to get your perspective on, of course, money is important. I maybe just your perspective on the creative outlet of having a side hustle as well.
yeah, yeah, and I actually address that in the book. I talk about, like, why
Mhm.
you wanna start a side hustle, and there's a million reasons, and something I emphasize with everything is your reasons are your reasons. It's okay if you just wanna start a side hustle to make money. That doesn't make you greedy, that doesn't make you anything other. It's okay if you wanna start a side hustle because 'cause you're passionate about something. Some people, they have a job and they're so grateful for it. The pay is good, it's where they wanna live, it's got good healthcare benefits, maybe that nice 401k match, so it's a good job and they're grateful for it, but maybe that's not the reason you got into the field of dietetics. Again, grateful, it meets the needs and the standards of a traditional job, but you have this like fire in you, the reason you became a dietitian, what you're so passionate about. And this is what's so cool about a side hustle is that you can pursue that passion, you can pursue that dream on the side. And I think I also I have like all these chapters in my book, I have the whole chapter about picking your path because some people start a side hustle because they eventually want to become what I call a full hustler. That just means full-time entrepreneur. So some people, they're like, I don't want to just jump into full-time entrepreneurship. I want to build up something, then leave. So some people, their goal is that eventually they want to become a full-time entrepreneur. Others, they don't want that. They literally just want to be a side hustler, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know it's kind of funny now because when I first got into the world of entrepreneurship, I had no plan on leaving my job. And I used to be so offended because I would hear these full-time entrepreneurs say the ultimate goal of anything entrepreneurial is to become a full-time entrepreneur, and anything less means you're dreaming too small. And that
Mm,
offended me because I'm like, it's okay to just want to be a side hustler. Being a full-time entrepreneur is not for everyone. That's okay. Some people, they like the reliability of a steady paycheck. They like to have certain hours where they can turn everything off, and there's nothing wrong with that. So for some people, a side hustle truly is a passion project. It's what they've dreamed of doing. And so with all of my babbling, what I'm trying to say is that there is a different path for everyone, and there really is no right or wrong reason. It's just what's right for you. And
yeah.
what's right for you might be different for someone else. And I think sometimes we see judgment out there and we start being like, oh, people are going to think I'm greedy, or people are going to think I'm dreaming too small, or people are going to think this about me. And then we get so in our heads that we don't pursue our dreams because we're worried about what other people think. So
Yeah.
a lot of my book is giving permission that, like, it's okay, friends, do the thing.
Do the thing. And I think that sort of brings me to my next question for you, which is I think that every dietitian, health professional is a snowflake in that they offer something very unique to the population they're serving. They have their own experience, their own expertise, their own areas of interest and lived experience. There's so many ways that you can express your creativity, your interest, and how you want to either make money or just, again, just be creative. Give us maybe a little bit of insight about some of the top 5 side hustles that are out there that someone might be thinking about, and maybe that might spark some interest in somebody.
Sure. I love how you said that, snowflakes. I've never heard that term, but you're so right. We're all unique and different because we all have different interests and different passions. I love being a dietitian, but I have zero interest in working with patients. Other people, that lights them up. And so, we all have our different paths. But yeah, I'm gonna in the book I do have 34 different side hustles that I cover, including one. Well, one of them is pretty much anything. Like, you really can do anything. The sky is the limit. I mean, it's been so cool, some of the side hustles that I hear dietitians doing. And then I even have a whole section on creative side hustles outside of dietetics, so things
Mm.
that don't even have to do with your credential. But I'm gonna pull up in my book, my chapter on, side hustle opportunities.
While
It's
you're doing that, I
a
think
long
it's
one.
really interesting how you have organized the book. I love the headers of how they're organized, the different main sections within the chapters or where the chapters live. So the first section, you guys, is discover. The next section is called develop. And the third section is called do it, right? Like, oh, I love those are all that's all perfect. I love that. And what I'm having her share with us is sort of the discover, I would imagine. Or maybe is that develop?
So technically it's in the develop section,
Got it. Okay.
but really it's kind of a discovery, but then also a develop. But yeah, that's actually the framework I use with everything I teach. All of my courses,
Mm.
when I work with clients, that is the framework that I use. And that's the book really is the framework again of everything I do. Sometimes I include side hustle opportunities in discover, like discover what's possible. But in the book, I put it in develop because I'm not just telling you, hey, you could be a freelance writer. I'm showing you how to do it. So it really is more about
Yeah.
developing the skills.
Developing, I get it. I love it.
So so, yeah, how I broke down the book is, within I mean, honestly, the chapter on opportunities for side hustlers, it's a long chapter. It's a very long chapter. And I have all the side hustles broken down into 5 different sections based on what you're interested in because we're all different. I have one section that's all about writing and content creation for those who maybe like their gift is writing behind the scenes. They just want to make, I used to say, I just want to make things look pretty and easy to understand. Like, that's what I wanted to do. And who knew I found a gig doing that through book
Yeah.
club. There's another section on nutrition wellness services for people who want to work directly with clients, whether or not that's one-on-one group, worksite wellness. There's a section on teaching speaking media for those who actually love being in front of the camera and they want to, reach the masses and teach and make impact. There's a section for more the introverts on digital and physical products, where maybe you want to be more behind the scenes and just create cool digital products. And then a section on business support and services. So I break
Mm.
it down, trying to help you figure out like what is it that you want to do. But I do have a section called the top 5 side hustles deep dive. And this is just from all of my years working with side hustlers. What consistently is like the most popular side hustles that people are interested in? Because in the book, I do break down like, here's the side hustles, here's what it is, what you need, the steps to do it, and then send you on your merry way. But with these 5, I wanted to provide even more information, like a deeper dive for the more nitty gritty how to do it. So in this section, I cover freelance writing, speaking and webinars, patient care, online courses, and digital products. And
Mm.
those have just been consistently ones that I see that come up over and over again that dietitians are most passionate about. So I spent some extra time, not just the what is it, but, opportunities, how to find a gig, what to charge, what you need, how to get started, and tips for success.
Oh, these are awesome, Katie. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, as you're talking, I'm thinking about dietitians who are literally doing the side hustle. So they have maybe a part time job, maybe it's a 30-hour a week job, and they have some extra time where they want to have this creative outlet, bring some extra money, and have this side hustle. Something that came to mind is what does this look like on your resume? What does this look like on your LinkedIn profile? And I'm just imagining like how employers would actually enjoy and then like how someone is this go-getter, how someone takes the initiative and has built something to completion, or just being able to have this additional service as part of their criteria or part of their leadership skills, whatever it might be. What are your thoughts on how this can really show up as a career development tool for somebody?
Yes. And, when we were emailing, you had actually mentioned this in the email. I'm like, I didn't even think of it. That was a whole other section that's missing from my book. but
We'll do
but
it
I
together
think
next time.
for the second edition. But I think that's a really good point is that entrepreneurship is such an amazing skill. Uh, Gosh, I'm debating on how deep I want to go in this conversation. So, school teaches us to be dietitians, which means we are fulfillers. For most of us, we work a job. We don't have to worry about getting clients. We don't have to worry about hiring. We don't have to worry about paying the bills, doing the taxes, all of that big stuff for the business. And so, when we're working for a business, they're doing all of those different things. We are just fulfillers. We are just being the dietitian. We're doing whatever that might look like on our job description. But when we pursue entrepreneurship, we are learning new skills, getting new skill sets. We're learning things that actually could help at a business level too. So it can help you in so many different ways within your job. Now, of course, there's got to be separation between the side hustle and your job, because if you're making money, that should not happen on work time. I have a section in the book. I feel like everything. I'm like, and there's a section in my
And
book
then
on considerations for employees, because we do talk about, because a lot of people are like, am I allowed to have a side hustle? What does this look like? We talk about all the things, that the do's and don'ts essentially of being a employee while having a side hustle. But I think that you're so right. Having a side hustle gives you a specific skill set that could help you when it comes to maybe getting a higher paying job. For example, we know that we often make more money when we're working in management. We are managing projects, managing teams, anything like that. In entrepreneurship, that's a skill set you're learning.
it
It's a
is.
line item on your resume, and things that you can speak to that could potentially to help you to get either a promotion, a pay raise, a new job, or even just something that you're passionate about that you didn't maybe have experience before. And now you've built up this experience on the side and now can pursue a job that pays more money and you're really excited about.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. I want to circle back with my last question back to, again, what I think is your secret sauce is your ability to bring people into the mindset of being an entrepreneur, someone who's sitting on the side thinking, gosh, I like this conversation. I like the idea of reading this book, but I don't know if it's really for me. I don't know if I really have the time or the expertise or the willpower to move through and execute this actual side hustle. So maybe you can sort of end with some of your parting cheerleading words that I think are just so valuable. I mean, again, I'll say this again. That is how I really think you are of service to other health professionals is this mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the first thing that I would encourage those listening to reflect on is this something you want to do? Because some people, the idea of doing something outside of their job sounds horrible, and that is okay. If you're like, yeah, that's cool, Katie, but I don't ever want a side hustle, that is fine. But I think we all have to ask ourselves, is this something I want to do? Have you been dreaming about doing something on the side? Have you been dreaming about maybe starting your own private practice, maybe creating a course, maybe building a blog business? Is this something that has been on your heart and maybe you haven't even spoken out into the world? You've been like, people will think I'm crazy. I don't have time for this. I'm a parent. I'm working multiple jobs. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I can't possibly do the thing. So the question is, what do you really want? But then also, what is in your head telling you why you can't do it? So if you have that feeling in your heart of, yeah, I actually really want to do this. Like, I have this big dream. I've had this dream. This is the reason I became a dietitian, but then life started lifing and, I fell into the grind of what life looks like. And if you have that pull in your heart, then I'm just going to say, honestly, get the book. And it's a book. I created it to be something that's more affordable and consumable,
Mm,
and just read it and really start processing these things because you'll learn that you don't need a ton of time to build your dreams. You just need to make sure that you're spending your time doing the right things that are going to move the needle forward. I built a side hustle. It was a six-figure side hustle, working a full-time job, mom of two kids, working on average about 4 to 7 hours per week. And so a lot of it was I had a lot of really good mentors. I had a lot of positive people around me who were doing amazing things who built me up. And I also had a strategy, which again, I give, it's all in here.
yeah.
So if you have that feeling in your heart of like, yeah, this is what I want to do, but then that negative voice comes in and lists the 10,000 reasons that you are being unreasonable and that will never happen, then I just want you to lean into that. Because
Yeah.
what if all of those negative things that your brain's telling you, what if those are all lies? I can tell you right now they are. What if that dream you have could actually come true? What if 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, that dream in your heart you're actually living? I I still get teary eyed, Stacey, when I think about this life I'm living. Like
Mm.
it was something that I never thought was possible. Like, it was just this dream in my head that I was too scared to speak out into the world because it would never come true. Who am I? Yeah, other dietitians are crushing it, but I'm just Katie. And the fact that I get to actively live a dream I never thought was possible, I am grateful every single day. So I guess that's my parting words is just like, just really take the time and ask, is this something I really, really want? Forget all the negative words in your head that say why you can't do it. Is it something you want? And if it is, pick up the book because I am going to challenge you on every single limiting belief that you have in your head.
See, you guys, I told you. Don't you like, aren't you excited to like start something? So, Katie, you are amazing. You and I are chatting 2 days before the book launch. I know that you've got some little goodies for people if they're able to catch this before the actual launch. I will have in the show notes down below where to find the book, all the details about that. But do you want to share a little bit about if people are able to catch this before it actually launches?
Sure. So the best place for you guys to go is my website, katiedodd.com. It's my name, katiedodd.com, and Stacey will have that. And that's my Linktree page. I update it. It's easy to find versus like, me giving you the longer URLs for everything else. And so right now, if you go to katiedodd.com, you'll see a button there that says Become a Dietitian Side Hustle Insider. You go there, name, email. You're going to get emails from me behind the scenes of kind of what's going on. I know we're very close to launch, so you won't get a ton from me, but you'll also get early access to buy the book one day before launch date. It is launching on November 19th, which means tomorrow, November 18th, you will get an email with the link to purchase the book. So one day before everyone. And you're going to get an invite to my Dietitian Side Hustle book launch party. It is going to be on Wednesday, November 19th at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. And this is going to be a fun Zoom call. It's just going to be a celebration, and I'm going to be doing lots of giveaways because I love
I
giveaways.
knew there were giveaways.
I'm going to be giving away $100 cash paid via PayPal, a signed copy of the book, 3 months membership into my community. I've got some really fun prizes, and for me, it's just meant to be a celebration of something that started for me as a hobby and
Mhm.
somehow unintentionally became this little baby movement and now is a book. And so I'm just so excited to share it with dietitians. I want as many dietitians, artists to be, honestly, any other healthcare professional to get their hands on this book because I wrote it for you guys and I really hope it's going to be helpful and life changing. So katiedodd.com, become an insider. And if you're listening to this later, still katiedodd.com because you'll find the link to buy the book once it goes
Awesome.
live.
Awesome. Dietitian Side Hustle book by Katie Dodd, you guys. Thank you so much, Katie. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Stacey.
Bye.
Bye.